Well, it's fantastic. It's the great thing about Quebec is that they're geared to really fund a lot of these opportunities that come along, especially in the mining sector. If you look at some of the other regions in Canada or provinces, they've run with surpluses. They've never been properly geared and put funding aside to be able to support the mining industry. So Quebec has done that. They have $1 billion fund. Also supported by a lot of their pension funds, so that makes life a lot easier for us miners, and there's a lot of infrastructure, low power costs, so it's a great area to be operating in. There's been a massive decoupling with the iron ore. We used to talk about iron ore prices, but you have to look at iron ore pricing today with the benchmark 62, which has a certain pricing, but there's been a massive decoupling for the higher grade material and the lower grade material. So China dominates the market when you're looking at seaborne iron ore, and you have in the order of 1 billion tonnes of iron ore going into China. Now, what's happened is with the environmental changes, there's been a large premium for the higher grade material because there's less diluents in. So, and your value in use in a blast furnace changes because the higher grade coking coal, met coal that you use for this is offset by the higher grade iron ore. So that constitutes this massive premium that's seeing today. So I think for today's prices for 62 is about $65, and you're looking at a $20 premium above that for the higher grade materials, around 66, like we're producing from Quebec. And then if you go to a Fortescue type material, they're in the order of a 40. So the spread between high and low grade is in the order of $40, and I can see that continuing. We see a lot more requirements for the higher grade material, especially in China. They're producing more and more cars, so they can't afford the diluents and they can't afford all the emissions that they continue doing. So. Well, as I said, the higher grade material that we produce and very, very low diluents. So the blast furnace is blessed with this material. There's only in the order of 150,000 tonnes, 150 million tonnes worldwide that's available. So we're one of the regions that have that, and I think you're going to continue seeing the premium for the higher grade material, and that sets up Champion very well to take advantage of that. I don't think the market's woken up to the fact that we've actually started shipping. We acquired the assets from Cliffs. They spent in the order of initially buying it for $5 billion, then another $2.5 billion on top of that. So we bought it at a much lower number than that. So we don't have massive debt service. If you look at what we'll produce in the next 12 months, it's 3 times earnings to the capital structure of the company. So there's a big upside for investors coming in today at the current share price. And there could be potential dividends coming along very soon. Now, that's quite a record given that we only bought the mine just a little 2 years ago and turned it around, and now we're shipping. So huge upside. There's been a lot more consolidation. A lot of the big miners have chased growth, and they've paid dearly for that. In 2011, one example I just gave you was Cliffs. You had Rio Tinto paying a lot for coal assets they're now selling. And that consolidation has also brought about a lot of change with banking. Banks have become a lot more conservative, and it's made it very difficult to get debt into a lot of these opportunities that are coming along. The landscape in Africa has changed with the higher risk because of the more demand from the governments on certain equity components. So, look, the big part of the change has been the banking, the consolidation. It's harder and harder to find these really good opportunities, but the banking's been replaced by the Orions and the Sprots and those groups of the world that are prepared to put funding in, but at a lot higher numbers than what banks used to do. So it's going to be tough going forward, but again, there's need for resources, so we just have to make sure we navigate our way through the process. Oh, it gets you out of the office and gives you a good feel of what else is going on around gives you a chance to, to consolidate a lot of investment community together and be able to sell the story to them. So, and it's always good to get a view of yourself from the outside as well, what people are thinking and the perspective they put on you. So, yeah.